Welcome to DayZ. Today we're talking about loot. When we first start playing the game, every item we come across feels like a wonderland. We don't know what's good and what's bad, and we don't want to miss out on something that's vital to our cause. So today we're going to talk about everything related to these items, what you should be grabbing, what you should be leaving behind, and some tips that I use as a 7,000 hour nerd to help navigate player inventory management. Firstly, the meta equip. The equip that everyone wants and needs is as follows: a short range gun, a long range gun or sniper, a melee for zombies / a silence pistol, the best pistol for this role being an MK2, a knife for crafting, bandages, and some armor. And this could be a plate carrier, a press vest, or a police vest. These are the essentials, the things that are mandatory for survival. Outside this, it's really about what your goals are. For example, if you aren't trying to build a base, nails mean next to nothing to you, unless you're trying to roleplay a bad guy from The Walking Dead. But if you are trying to build a base, nails are the gold mine, the best thing you can find. So the loot you are going to be gathering is always going to be relative to your goals for the adventure. So knowing what it takes to, say, make a farm or build a base or get a car working will help you understand what you should and should not be grabbing. Beyond this, I think I've got a good recipe for the stages of DayZ progression for you to consider while you're traveling through the land. But before we do that, let's talk about the most important items, because I think this, above all else, is what people need to know. The things that pretty much at any stage of the game, you're going to have to pick up. And I'm not going to include like a DMR, which is the best gun in the game without question. I'm going to talk about things that you can find right off spawn that you need to be prioritizing when you come across them. The first thing is sharpening stones, and this is used in base building primarily, and it allows you to upkeep survival items or anything with a blade. It's incredibly valuable. After that, we have 308 ammo. This is arguably the best and most versatile ammo in the game, working with a load of different guns that you're going to use through your progression. But mostly, it is a heavy round that can be shot from a large distance, and it will knock someone with the plate carrier. So it's a valuable round that you're going to use with every type of gun, too. It comes in a pistol with the Longhorn. We have a sniper rifle version of it, the DMR that we talked about, the most powerful gun. And then also it has the LAR, which is like an AR version of a 308 gun. So an incredibly valuable ammo that you should always grab. The plastic explosive. This is the best rating item in the game. So if you're thinking about breaking into someone's base by brute force, this is the item for you. And I'm actually going to be making a guide next about that a little bit more. But 2 of these will take down any wall. After that, we have the radio transceiver, and this is a little button that you press when you pair it with that plastic explosive, and it allows you to send it into the nether realm and blow that bad boy up. Super rare though, but for example, I'm showing you this because you could literally find this item in Cherno right off spawn at the military industrials right next to there. So an incredibly valuable item. This is not to be confused with the Claymore grabber, good boy. This guy's got a little wrap around it. You can see that little barbed wire there. After this, we have the protector case. This item is not only, as it is titled, going to protect your items that are inside of it. So let's say you had some badly damaged nails. You could put them in a protector case, and then the chance of the zombies RNG when they hit you smacking those nails that are badly damaged, it lowers, right? Because they're in a protector case. Alongside this item is how you blow up walls most effectively. So you take 2 of those plastic explosives, you put them in this bad boy, you do some hacking and some radio work, and then suddenly with a handheld receiver or a couple different things, you could blow it up. So the protector case is not only used for raiding, it protects important items that you have, and it also is an item that you can bury and use as storage in your base. So an incredibly valuable item that we should always grab. And next up, we have plate carriers, until you have one, of course. If you have a plate carrier, don't get another one. If you see a plate carrier and you don't have one, and you're saying to yourself, yeah, but I have this press vest and it has inventory slots. No, you just don't have a plate carrier is what you have with that press vest. The plate carrier is the gold standard. It's a significant amount more damage reduction and all the different stats. I'm going to show them right now. And even though, yes, the press vest comes with slots, you could still get slots on this bad boy. Put some pouches on it, baby. Multivitamins. This is the strongest medical item in the entire game. You can use this and drink water. You can use this and eat nasty meat. You can do so many things with multivitamins, and they fight almost every single illness in the game. They are all encompassing, it feels like. They boost your immunity stat for 3 minutes, I believe, or 5 minutes. I'm not positive right now. And until you have a 50 stack of them, you should be grabbing all the multivitamins you see. If you have a stack of 25 and a stack of 12, you can combine them and make it take up less inventory all the way up to 50 as well. Next up, we have the epoxy putty, and this allows you just simply to repair armor and helmets. So if that plate carrier gets damaged, you have a little epoxy putty. Instead of using the big leather sewing kit, which takes up 6 inventory slots, epoxy putty takes up 2 and does the same thing. The cooking pot is next on our list, and this is the most effective item for carrying water. It takes up virtually 0 inventory slots because you could put items into it equal to how much inventory space it takes up. So whereas the canteen has less water than the cooking pot has more water and takes up no inventory. Alongside this, the cooking pot gives you the option of boiling food. It is a unique option exclusive to this item, and it essentially allows you to keep the water stat and the food stat of your item kind of connected. It is a wonderful item. Alongside this, you can also bury it, and it protects the items inside it. Very similar to the protector case. If you don't have a cooking pot, you need to get your hands on one. A common mistake players make early on, especially when they have limited inventory, is carrying 2 items that do the same thing. For example, a pickaxe and a shovel. They both fight zombies. They both can dig for worms. They both set base building. There's no reason to have 2 of these because they complete the same sort of objective in your checkoff of what you need. Duplicates, for that matter, pretty much at all times are not necessary beyond ammo and some of the really important items above that I just listed. But even at that, you wouldn't want 5 sharpening stones. If you had 5 sharpening stones, you'd be God on the server. But you wouldn't want to have that many sharpening stones. It's going to weigh you down, and you already have something that's completing that ambition for you in your wants for survival. When it comes to ammo, I get asked all the time, what ammo should I be carrying? What should I be leaving behind? You never know for certain what gun you will find in the wilds of DayZ. When it comes to ammo, I recommend carrying all the bullets you find until you have a gun with the reasonable amount of ammo to defend yourself, thus assuring that you have every chance possible to get a working firearm. This is incredibly important. It almost feels like a law of DayZ, like there's an algorithm working against everyone that you won't find the ammo for your gun, but you'll find every other ammo. So minimizing that sadness is valuable. Once we have a working gun, let's say we got a small caliber gun like a Bison working. If I had a bunch of 9mm, I wouldn't keep that because the Bison isn't really a gun I'm going to be using late into the game. Essentially, in the beginning stages of the game, I pick up all the ammo I find. Once I find a working small caliber gun, I'll only pick up those bullets for that gun because eventually I'm going to run into people with plate carriers. And .45, .380, .22, maybe .357 will work versus a plate carrier, but all 9mm, these bullets will not stand the test that a plate carrier will put in front of them. So normally I will prioritize one type of small caliber ammo, focus on that gun, and hopefully use that as a sort of stepping stone to get me to the stronger ammo types. What we're actually looking for is 5.56, 7.6239, 7.6254, and 308. 5.45 is a really good ammo type early on and in the middle of the game because it can do okay versus a press vest or a police vest, but it won't do well versus a plate carrier. This is a flesh round, and it doesn't put enough shock value into someone in order to knock them out when they have a plate carrier, which gives us 70% shock reduction. The 939 ammo is a different sort of situation because I won't pick up 939 ammo unless I'm planning on specifically using a VSS or an AS-Val or a Vickr. The reason being that these 3 guns are interchangeable. They all use the exact same magazine, and outside that, this ammo isn't really used. With that being said, if you are going to use 939 guns, and that's something that you're prioritizing, you can look for AP ammo. I believe firmly that 939 VSS with a 30-round mag shooting AP ammo is the strongest close quarter gun in the game, and that's just because I like the way it feels. A lot of people will say the FAMAS or maybe even the DMR, because if you just hit one shot, they're going uncom for sure. I find that the 939 is just such a valuable weapon. It shoots completely suppressed, and it is very good, but you're not really going to prioritize that ammo unless you really want that gun, kind of like what we're going to talk about with base building and getting cars in a little bit. Here are the ammo types that you really want to focus on. You want to keep all the 5.56 you find, all the 7.6239, all the 7.6254, to a point with 7.6254 because it's only going to be a sniper rifle round, so you don't really need more than 2 boxes at any time, if I'm being honest with you. And 308, as we've spoken on before, is in my opinion, the most valuable ammo in the game, and something that all players should be aiming for at least one of their guns, whether that be the LAR for close quarter or the long range sniper variants that are available. Moving into late game, if you have enough ammo to sustain a couple fights, you can begin focusing on high caliber bullets like I talked about low caliber bullets. What I mean by this is, instead of holding on to every ammo you find, just hold on to the ammos that are working for the guns that you're using currently. And this is when we're talking about late game, like you have everything you need and you're roaming around the map looking for something to do. Well, now we can sort of hone in our inventory and not weigh ourselves down with a bunch of extra bullets. Generally speaking, car parts are not something you should ever really pick up until you see a car and you're like, that's repairable, I want that car. But 2 parts for the vehicles that you should always pick up are the spark plug and the glow plug. They take up almost no inventory. They're really hard to spot, so very often you'll walk over them and not even realize that you passed them. And when people park their car, the most reasonable thing for them to take out is always going to be the spark plug or the glow plug, because the battery is going to be really heavy, and the radiator, if they take it out, will lose all of its water, so they would have to refill it again. This may allow you to come up, plug in your spark plug or glow plug, and right out of there dirty. Another thing is nails. If you are not base building, they're not a great item for you to carry. You can only really make storage boxes, which is kind of still base building, to make yourself maybe a stash, or alongside that you can make the bat look a little bit cooler. But with this considered, if you're not base building and you're not a social player, and I'll talk about that in a second, I don't recommend grabbing nails. They are quite heavy, and ultimately they don't really serve you a purpose. Now, if you are a social player, they are one of, if not the most valuable currency in the game. So if you find someone that is friendly, which a lot of you are probably struggling with out there, I feel for you, a good thing to do is to say, hey, I got nails for trade if you got them. And they will likely, if they are trying to build a base, most of the time give up anything they have for those nails beyond their weapon. So it is a powerful weapon to have socially, but it is a heavy item to have if you're not going to use them practically. A quick rule of thumb is, for vehicle or base building items, you don't want to grab them until you confirm that's the goal in your brain. Like if you just keep finding stuff and it lines up perfectly, grab them all, I guess. But my mindset is like, once I find the vehicle and I see that it needs a radiator and a spark plug, I'll start looking for those items then. Because looking for them before, the chance that I find that car with the radiator and spark plug need is little, right? Eat all of the food you have. The higher your food and hydration stat, along with your blood and your HP, the higher your immunity stat, which lowers your chance of getting sick and ultimately frees up inventory space. If you're down to your last 1 or 2 pieces of food, you can wait in yellow and then eat as soon as you get into red. Reason being, when you're in yellow, you burn calories slower than any other area. But beyond that, we need to be eating all of the food that we have in order to secure our character's health and our immunity stat. I think in general, loot in DayZ just takes experience. The more you play, the more you're going to be able to notice that, hey, I don't think I've seen this item in a long time. Hey, I think this is actually associated with raiding. And through those experiences, you're going to build a familiarity with, not only with these items, but also with yourself and what you want to accomplish as a player. If your stamina is really low, that means you're winning. That means you're doing good at the game. Or it means you're carrying a bunch of industrial loot. Stop doing that. Stop doing that, please. Regardless, I hope this guide helped all of you. maybe get a better understanding as to what you should be focusing on when you're roaming through the outskirts of Chernarus or Livonia or whatever map you're on right now. I care about you guys. I hope you're doing well. Be good to each other out there. Or don't.